Well, it's gone 23 minutes past 8 o'clock here on Sunrise Daily. Joining us to look at the cabinet shakeup this morning is a public affairs analyst, Adiola Shoeton. Good to have you join us this morning. Well, it came finally, even after, a couple of months, specifically 3 months when we first heard about the cabinet reshuffle or shakeup. Finally, it dawned on everyone yesterday. What do you make of this whole scenario?
Well, first of all, I don't lose my sleep on the shakeup because thousands of professionals lose their jobs in Nigeria on a daily basis. Bankers, teachers, mention them. They lose their jobs because of the bad economic situation we are in. Again, I look at the ministers in Nigeria, as human products or human commodities for patronage and appeasement. So it's not based on any concrete professionalism, passion, or vision. And it's just a logical conclusion. When you are a product for appeasement of maybe you are appointed by a godfather or you are manufactured by your governor to serve, it's not because you have any vision. So when there's a crisis as we have in the PDP, it's a logical conclusion that those who have not been able to fight their governors in order to maintain the loyalty and their job must definitely go.
So your reading is political here?
It is. It is. Though the president has the constitutional right to hire and fire, but did he really hire them in the first instance? Many, if not most, were manufactured by godfathers to represent them in the cabinet.
Tell us more of what you mean by appeasement.
Yes. At least Professor Rukayat mentioned that she was nominated by Lamido, Governor Lamido. And she thanked her, for that. And think the woman should be commended. So this idea of ministers who are appointed on the basis of integrity, professionalism, credibility, the woman has put itself to that. So what it means is that you win election, people help you to win election. So how do you appease? How do you pay back? So you say, well, my godfather from different states, apart from the contracts you are going to be getting, I want you to give me somebody to be a minister.
Yeah, but let's look at this. That is one way of interpreting the entire thing, but let's look at it sincerely. How do we expect the president to hire his ministers? Would you have recommended any other way?
Good. Nice question. A president has vision. I'm talking in an ideal situation now. You look at those who can translate that vision into reality. And how you do it, take for instance, education. If you are supposed to have 2 ministers, if I were the president, even under this bourgeois system, I call ASU, I call COASU, I call NUT. Give me 3 nominees. I can pick 2. And what it means is that they will go back into their unions and look at professors, doctors, teachers that are qualified to represent their interests and the nation. So what it means is that the president has successfully put all the unions into his vision. So when they say, professor is a professor now, he used to be your ASU, he's a minister for education now, why are you fighting? It's not representing them. It's representing Lamido and Lamido's other states. Everybody knows that Obasanjo manufactured about 10 ministers in this cabinet. So if there's a loss of favor, loyalty, they must go. I too wonder why they're still there. The moment the rebellion came into the fore, if I were a manufactured product of one of the governors, I would put in my papers.
They shouldn't have even waited.
Honestly, that is if I were a product of appeasement.
But what if their loyalty had switched? From the godfather to maybe to the president?
It's not even switched to the president, to the nation, to the vision, if there is any. But if you switch, that is why Iwike has his job, because I'm surprised that if it's the cabinet shake-up is to drive a vision. People like Enrique, who openly said that his governor will not sleep, should have gone, because you don't allow minister to look to divert. People like Analyst should have gone because of the scandal in the oil industry.
But
So,
don't you think the scandal, sorry, Mark, but the scandal in the oil industry is way beyond the ministry can handle, because a whole lot have been done by the government. The other time we heard about people policing our pipelines, and they say, well, that still hasn't helped.
look, oil industry is like the blood of the nation. And that is, in fact, let me tell you point blank, the president of the nation, anytime in Nigeria, is just a chief petrol attendant. Why the minister, the governors are petrol attendants? Because all we are doing here is just to sell oil. You know, sell oil, take money, and distribute. Because we don't have diversified economy. So what is happening really is that the moment oil industry is the problem, you don't allow such a minister to be there for 1 second. Beyond that, no matter who source is God. But now we can see the aviation minister is still there. The finance minister, who is known for no money cliche, is still there. So,
in your own opinion, are you saying that the president should sack all his ministers? It would seem
why
that,
not?
It would seem that that is what you're saying, and that nobody has done any job. I mean, even the Minister of Aviation that has been praised in many quarters, you are saying she's still there.
Look,
Shouldn't she be there?
We all know that she runs, or she's the motivator for neighbor to neighbor. And you know, a lot of trillions, or a lot of billions that were thrown into neighbor to neighbor campaign. A minister, I'll give you an instance.
Which she categorically said had nothing to do with government
Look,
money.
a minister has no business in such things. A minister has no business in such things. I traveled, and I know that, okay, you see the issue of the stowaway boy. We are going to see stowaway cattle, a cow, one of these days. Things like that shows how the aviation industry has degenerated. I'll give you an instance. Professor Oliko Ikuti, it's just a pity that we have to refer back to military era. Why is it that we have good ministers under military? Oliko Ikuti was their primary head. You won't see him running around all this neighbor to neighbor agenda. Even Katangora, Bonaja Akiyemi, these are ministers that even within dictatorship, they were able to stand out. Today, mention none. Because one, there was no vision. Two, they were manufactured, not for a purpose, a vision, but for appeasement. So the moment such wahala started, a minister that what is sought, and you know that you are not loyal to anybody, except the only way now, what the president has taught any ministers to be, is that, look, the moment you are appointed, you must first of all declare loyalty to him, even at the expense of fighting your governor or whoever is there, or your godfather. If many of them have fought those who manufactured them to be ministers, perhaps they will have kept their job.
No, Mr. Shoeton, let's look at this more critically and more, should I say, objectively.
Exactly.
I mean, you're saying, are you saying that there is no minister that was sacked that you will miss? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I've said it. The performance profile of ministers, I don't know. The president has the right to sack any minister. He has the right to fire anybody. That one is given to him constitutionally. But I'm saying that the process of getting this minister is wrong, except it's changed. And we have a president that can, look, I don't mind anybody. Anybody can help me. I want to drive this vision on education. I want to have this on health. ASU, NMA, Nursing Association, Farmers Association, Health Worker Organization. Meet with them. I want 2 ministers. Give me 4 nominees that you can vouch for, that they are professionals. They know them. They will say, look, I know you say ASU, give us minister for education now. And I know that people like Olorode, Jingo, Awabi, Fashion and Co. could have been, but they will not be accepted by a president that doesn't want to work.
No, there are certain people who, for instance, now look at this ASU crisis. In trying to resolve it, they have brought in the governor of a state, because a committee was set up that was they went round the schools, the universities to see their state. A report was done. That report was leaked. A host of people saw what the federal government saw. They presented it not only to the FEC, they also presented it to the NEC as well, National Economic Council, and then the governors also saw. So that's what resulted in a governor heading that particular committee. We're seeing in the process of trying to resolve the asset crisis now, we've seen how many ministers involved. The Minister for Education was involved. The coordinating Minister of the Economy was involved. The Minister for Labor was involved, and also the person, the governor who was heading the Needs Assessment Committee. It's almost like as if it's cutting across ministries. And still, there has been no resolution to the crisis.
Well, let me also tell you that.
So it's not just if assuming ASU had brought up somebody.
You don't need it. You don't need it. All those things are just to pretend that something has been done. It's a simple thing. An agreement was reached. Fulfill the agreement. Simple as ABC.
An agreement was reached not by this administration.
Well, I really don't want to drive it into ASU affair now. But you, at the start of your talk, did say, well, the president has the right to fire and hire any of his ministers.
At least for now.
But do you think that we're getting this at the wrong time? If he had done this in May before the PDP crisis, would we have been reading any kind of political undertone to all of this?
Yes. Because the process that brought them in, I actually get it. If the president had gone ahead to integrate unions that those ministers are going to work with, that will also help the ministers to appreciate the enormity of the problems and the challenges and how to find solutions. If he sacks them, the union will say, yes, this man is ready for sack and should be sacked. So fundamentally, the flaw is how did these ministers get there? How? I think you get it. How did these ministers get there? We've had instances during the military regime, bad as it is, that somebody just say, he just had his name announced as minister. That is good enough. What it means is that they did not go to his traditional ruler or his village head or his political godfather and say, look, we want minister in Ogun State to give us. But today, we have brains, intellectuals. Even in the media, Minister for Information, you call media, you call NUJ, you call Ratau, you call unions in the media, give us.
Why the unions? Are unions? Are unions the only places where they get credible individuals? I mean, most of people will not agree with you.
No, I'm not saying that. The union can even go outside their members. But if we want round peg in round hole, and you want everybody to be carried along, and you want proficiency, because let's assume if a minister is appointed, coming from education unions and whatever, part of the nominees, the president is not, should not be under compulsion that he has to have leverage. You want to give me 6, and he appoint part of the 2. Out of the 6.
Mr. Schroeder, isn't this about the individual?